Hi, I'm Matt from Black Box Mind, and in this video, 3 tips on reading a book a week from someone who doesn't really read all that much. So this might be interesting. Maybe. 2021, I've decided, is going to be the year of the week. Now, stupid New Year's resolution slogans aside, I'm going to be committing to doing 2 or 3 challenges every week for the whole year. I suppose this is some stupid self-experimentation to try and make myself more productive. And the way I see it, this could go one of 2 ways. Firstly, I either complete the challenges every week, feel great for about 10 minutes, and then realise that I'm all alone because my incredibly busy social life has taken a devastating hit. Just to be clear, he doesn't have a social life at all. Or I could have a really bad flare-up of quite a severe medical condition that I suffer from. Procrastination. So anyway, one of the challenges that I've set myself is reading a book a week. And for some of you, this isn't even a challenge. That's easy, a book a week. But for me, with the reading age of a 12-year-old and, the silky soft skin of a Disney princess, this isn't just going to be challenging, it's going to be downright dangerous. I mean, think of all those paper cuts that are just waiting to happen. So anyway, let's just get on with this. 3 tips on reading a book a week from someone who doesn't read all that much. Listen, I mean, I'm not going to hate you if you don't watch the video. I mean, I totally understand. First up, have a good reason for reading a book a week. And I suppose having a deeper reason for any challenge that you're undertaking is probably a good idea, not just reading. That way, when you hit tough times during the challenge, you can think back to this deeper why and then use that to motivate you to push you through to the next step. Whether that's reading a book a week to push your knowledge, or running daily to train for a marathon, or, that's a good one, cutting back on sugary snacks to beat that goddamn sugar addiction that you've got, well, that I certainly have anyway. And I suppose you could go one step further and kind of construct some kind of future vision of yourself and link all of these deeper reasons and your challenges towards that future vision of yourself. Now bear with me, I know I'm starting to sound like some crap life coach here, but think of your future vision of yourself as that golden glove thing that Thanos has in the Batman movies. Quality pop culture reference there. And each of those infinity stone coloured candy things, then they're like your challenges. Sure, they look great on their own, and yes, they give you powers and stuff, but it becomes really interesting when you take all that you've learned from each of your different challenges and bring it all together. Here's a quote from sociologist Dan Chambliss from the book I read last week, Grit, by Angela Duckworth. Superlative performance is really a confluence of dozens of small skills or activities, each one learned or stumbled upon, which have been drilled into habit and then fitted together in a synthesized whole. There's nothing interesting or superhuman in any one of those actions, only the fact that they're done consistently and correctly and all together produce excellence. You see, that reading stuff's coming in handy already. So, you don't just have to read for the sake of reading. Try picking out some deeper reason or some overarching goal for doing what you're doing, and you never know, in tough times, it might help you get through. Next tip on the list is probably the most obvious one. Pick books to read that you're actually interested in reading. I mean, don't go making the mistake of going online and looking for the list of 100 books to read before you die and starting at number 100 and then battling your way all the way up to number 1. I mean, sure, there'll be some interesting books on the list for sure, but personally I'd rather just start out looking for books that I'm already interested in or, things that I want to learn more about. And actually, this way you'll be kind of infusing intrinsic motivation into the metaphorical tea that is your reading challenge. Just so you know, there's actually 2 types of motivation. There's intrinsic motivation that comes from within oneself, and there's extrinsic motivation as well, which comes from external sources like rewards or a personal trainer that's pushing you for those last 2 reps in the gym that you should go to, really. So, pick books that you're interested in reading to increase the likelihood that you'll continue on with the reading challenge. And this way you'll be, drawing from your internal motivation, your intrinsic motivation, and, becoming, pretty soon, a book devouring machine. At least that's the idea. That's the plan. That's what I'm sticking with. And tip number 3, the last tip on this list, is divide up your book. Now, when I pick up a book, I put it straight back down if it doesn't feel like it's going to blow away in the lightest of breezes. But what I found out is you can actually divide up a book. Yeah, you can. Now sit back, because there's some pretty complicated maths about to take place here. What you do to divide up your book is you take the total number of pages in your book. You take the total number of days in the week. 7. Then you divide the total number of books by 7, and that gives you your daily reading target, or your DRT. Now, I'll 100% admit that I stole this idea from Juan at his Inner Eyes channel. The moment I saw him doing this is the moment I started hating myself because I didn't think of doing this earlier. And another thing with the targets is if you miss your target for the day, you have the kind of punishment of catching up on everything you didn't read from the previous day. So, you know, you've got a bit of skin in the game. Not a lot, but, you know, it's something. Now, I can imagine you thinking that hitting your daily targets day after day, week after week, is going to get boring after a while. But you're wrong, because if you've done tip 1 in this list, then you'll have a deeper reason for doing the challenge. And if you've got this deeper reason, then that kind of gives, you know, a reason for all of these day-to-day tasks that you're going to be doing. I mean, this is something that I'm implementing more in my day-to-day life. I have some kind of overarching goal that I want to achieve. I break that down into quantifiable targets, and then I break down those targets into smaller day-to-day tasks. And then when I get bored or losing the will to live doing these day-to-day tasks, I can take a step back, look at the bigger picture and think, you know, actually by doing this task, I'm taking one step closer to where I want to be in the long run. And then more often than not, when I do that, I go back to the task in hand with more energy and more enthusiasm than I had before. So that's kind of a win-win, I suppose. And there you have it, 3 tips for reading a book a week. But just one thing before I finish the video, you know, if there's a book that I really want to learn something from, then I typically wouldn't pick that book for the Book of the Week challenge, because, you know, reading for comprehension and just, you know, learning in general takes time and purposeful practice. And, you know, it's not something that should really be rushed. So if you've got something that you really want to deep dive on, then take your time with it. But if it's a book that you're reading for pleasure, or something that you just, you know, reading for general insight on something that you're interested in, then crack on. And with that, we come to the end of the list. And I don't know, that wasn't so bad, was it? Well, let me know in the comments down below. And in the meantime, I'll catch you cool cats on the flip side. Ciao.